Am I the a-hole for not telling my boyfriend that his sister waxes me? My boyfriend, 19, and I, 20, have been dating for nearly 2 years. I have a really close relationship with his sister, 21. We basically grew up together and were in the same classes in school. To this day, we remain very close. She's an esthetician and I go to her when I need something done. About 3 to 4 months ago, we were talking about skincare, ingrown hairs, etc. I mentioned that I get really bad ingrown hairs in my bikini area, and she suggested I stop shaving and start waxing because I have curly hair. I told her I wasn't comfortable going to a stranger for that, and she offered to do it for me for free. Since I didn't see any issue with it, I agreed. To clarify, I don't completely expose myself when she waxes me. I wear underwear. 2 days ago, my boyfriend and I were talking about random stuff, and I mentioned needing to wax my bikini area. He seemed surprised and said he didn't know I got waxed. He thought my pain tolerance was too low for it. I explained that it was, but sister's name is Patient, and we often laugh during the process. He made a weird face and asked why she waxes me. I responded that she's my esthetician. He was upset and said I never told him. I apologized, but honestly it never occurred to me to mention it. I was friends with his sister long before I met him, and we are extremely close. I also thought she might have mentioned it to him. He said he didn't want his sister seeing me like that, and found it disgusting and weird to do that with his sibling. I told him he was the weird one, and that I'm not completely naked when she waxes me. He made it seem like I was fucking his sister, which I found gross. I apologize for not telling him earlier, but I didn't think it was necessary, especially since I don't get waxed often. I also have other friends who wax each other, and it's not a big deal. He became disrespectful and told me I wasn't allowed to talk to his sister for a while. I said he was being ridiculous and blowing the situation out of proportion. We ended up screaming at each other, and I left while crying. He knows I'm close with her. We've shared drinks and food, changed in the same room, and even given each other pecks on the mouth. He knew all this before we started dating. Now he's texted me saying, "Not talking to you until you apologize," which I find immature. Maybe I should have told him, but it genuinely didn't cross my mind. I feel like I deserve an apology for how he treated me. So am I the a-hole? Comments. Commenter 1. What does he think is going on in that room anyways? She is waxing you then ravishing you? 'Cause nothing says take me now quite like getting the hairs ripped from your crotch. Not the a-hole, by the way. He sounds pretty insecure, honestly. And his "you can't talk to your friend for a few days" is beyond controlling and ridiculous. Dump him, and make sure his sister knows why you are dumping him, so he can't try and lie to her to break up your friendship. Commenter 2. Not the ass. Don't talk to him until he apologizes. Up. I feel like we'll just never talk again then. Commenter 3. Awesome. He's a terrible person. Update. So my boyfriend, 19, and I, 20, have been dating for about 2 years. My boyfriend has started the habit of, when I wake up in the morning and stretch, he tries to put his fingers inside my vagina. I move his hand and say stop, but he just laughs and says, "Well, your legs are wide open and you're naked." I don't think it's funny, I think it's straight up disrespectful. It's not morning sex, I'm literally waking up stretching, then he puts a finger inside me with no warning, then he laughs and says, "Good morning." It used to be funny the first 2 to 3 times, but it got old quickly. It's also so annoying because he usually does it when I'm waking up, so I'm still groggy and not aroused at all, which makes it hurt sometimes. At first he said it was because I was naked and had my legs open, so I was kinda asking for it. So I stopped sleeping naked for a while, but then he would poke me through my pants. He also does it when I'm just sitting with my legs crossed, and if I don't say anything, he keeps doing it until I snap. He says I used to do it to him, but it feels different to me. Yes, I used to touch him randomly, especially when we first started being sexually active, but not as he's waking up in the morning and not when he's visibly upset. I don't mind if he touches me, but not like this. It just feels disrespectful and objectifying. Why do I have to remind myself to keep my legs closed in front of my boyfriend? We haven't been talking much because of another issue, but I don't want to solve that and then go back to dealing with this again. I'm not the best at expressing how I feel. Does anyone know how I could make him understand that it's not okay? Edit. I'm going to clarify a few things here quickly. I didn't expect this many comments and I'm writing this at work, so I'm going fast. We waited 7 months before having sex, and we lost our virginity to each other. I knew he really wanted to do it early on in the relationship, but I was scared. He always joked that we waited too long, but I know that deep down he means it. I understand that 7 months is a long time, but also we had zero experience. We started exploring pretty quickly after losing our virginity. At first, I would wake up to him touching me and I would tell him that if he wanted to have sex, He could just let me know instead of waking me up like that. He said he was just fascinated because he had never been with anyone else before me. I thought he was just excited about having a girlfriend. His sister had told me when we first started dating that he had never talked to a girl before me, so I assumed he wasn't used to seeing vaginas in real life. It sounds stupid, I know, but I could kind of understand. I used to be excited too in the beginning because I hadn't been with anyone before either. Then he started doing the wake-up thing more frequently. I laughed the first 2 or 3 times and told him to stop. He would laugh and say that I was naked, so he couldn't help it. Again, I thought it was because he was excited. The 3rd time I told him to please stop because it was annoying and it scared me when he did it as I was waking up. He again said, "Well, your legs are open." And I got really mad and screamed at him to let me wake up first. He said it was just a joke and to relax, but I told him it wasn't funny. He stopped doing it for a while, but then he did it again another time and actually shoved 3 fingers inside me, which literally made me scream in pain. I wasn't aroused at all. We had a big fight about it, and I told him it was so fucking weird what he's doing. Like, why are we fighting about him putting his fingers in my genitals? And I did ask him once how he would feel if I just shoved my finger in his ass, and he just laughed and said to do it then. I'm going to have a conversation with him about this, but I just needed someone to tell me I wasn't overreacting. Thank you so much. I will update after I talk to him. Right now we're not speaking and we're going through a rough patch. Comments. Commenter 1. You aren't overreacting. It's gross behavior. Commenter 2. Op, I saw your other post. Your boyfriend isn't a good person. You need to leave him immediately. It's only going to get worse. You're too young for this. Commenter 3. If a stranger was in your bedroom while you slept and inserted his fingers in your vagina, that would be sexual assault. Your BF is in your bedroom while you sleep and is inserting his fingers in your vagina. That's sexual assault. The first person is obviously raping you. The second person has normalized rape so much so that you can't see it. Back to the stranger, if he said that you were asking for it, victim blaming. BF says you were asking for it. His view of sex is skewed, freaking out because your friend, who happens to be his sister, is waxing your bikini lines ? Sex is between consenting partners. Rape is an unwilling partner. I'd fucking report him. I don't want to sleep with someone who is sexually assaulting me. I don't sleep with my husband anymore. I don't even sleep in the same room. I'm trying to pry him out of my life and explain shit to my children. Get the fuck out. Second update. I had a conversation with my boyfriend about everything that's been going on with us. We already weren't speaking because he didn't like that I hadn't told him his sister was my esthetician. I apologized for not telling him and explained that the only reason I started waxing was to help with ingrown hairs on my bikini line, which his sister said waxing would help. I also reassured him that if he felt uncomfortable thinking I was naked in front of her, I wasn't. I keep my underwear on. However, he said it wasn't just that. He was also uncomfortable with the fact that I was lying down in my underwear with my legs open and her face is between my legs. I was a little grossed out because he made it seem like it was something sexual when she's just doing her job. I told him it wasn't like that and moved on to another subject because I didn't want to start a fight. I then brought up that I really didn't like how he touches me down there first thing in the morning because it startles me and hurts since I'm not aroused. He said he just likes touching me, and I responded that he could, just not in that way and not when I'm waking up. I said that if he wanted morning sex, to initiate it a different way rather than just shoving his fingers inside me. I explained that just because I sleep naked doesn't mean he can touch me however he wants. He sleeps naked too, and I don't touch him like that. He wasn't really taking me seriously and said I could grab his dick if I wanted to. I said I didn't understand why he was fighting me on this, and insisted that he needed to ask before touching me like that. I tried to make him understand how much it hurts to have something enter your body with no warning. He apologized but still defended himself, saying I was making a big deal out of it, that he doesn't do it every day, he doesn't, but he's done it a lot, and that he does it because he finds it funny when I'm mad. I got pissed and called him immature, and I told him that if he does it again, I'll break up with him because I'm done. I think this made him realize the seriousness of the situation because we've always said we wouldn't mention breaking up unless we were serious. He apologized 1,000 times and called himself an idiot for not realizing sooner and promised to do better. Thank you everyone for the comments, they really helped. I understand some people might be disappointed that we didn't break up, but deep down I really want this relationship to work. I've never been more in love before. Now he knows not to do this again, and if he does, I'll break up with him. Thank you. Edit. By the way, I am 20 and he is 19, not the other way around, and I'm turning 21 this summer and he's turning 20 in November. Edit 2. I can understand by the wording that it looks like he does it every single day, but it's not the case. He's done it frequently but not all the time. I just want to make it clear. Comments. Commenter 1. You'll be in love again. Don't force yourself to stay with someone who violates you just because you are scared of losing the good stuff. Up. I'm not forcing myself to stay. Commenter 2. I'm sorry, but you are making the wrong decision here. This guy is so insanely jealous that he tried to forbid you to see or speak to his sister because he sexualized her giving you bikini waxes. Even worse, he repeatedly sexually assaulted you. Yes, that's what it is, sexual assault. When you repeatedly tried to tell him to stop and explained how it made you feel, he did not care. He only cared about what he wanted and disregarded your wishes and needs until you threatened to leave. He's only pretending to apologize and change now because he's trying to keep you with him and under his control. It won't be long before you make another post about him being back to his same behavior or worse. I wish you could see that.